Falling Frontier is a game that I covered in April of 2021, and it still has to be my most anticipated space sci-fi RTS game of 2022. In that video, I covered all that we knew: an immersive, hard sci-fi setting, realistic mechanics, the vastness of space, and how to grow your empire within it. And if you want to check out that video first, it's up in the top right corner. Well, a lot has happened in 2021 since then, including a pushed back early access release date to the second quarter of 2022. But that doesn't mean that Falling Frontier's sole developer is struggling to complete the game, not in the least. What it means is that the early access release will be stable, full of features not yet seen, and provide the best experience possible. To give you a breakdown of this video right up front, we will take a look at some new footage, starting with The Forge, a 12-minute uncut segment of tutorial footage to set up just a piece of Titan Rising's campaign. Then we'll look into the search and rescue video to give you a glimpse of cinematic video that was taken 100% in-engine, touching on the detail and ambience of Falling Frontier. We'll wrap up with the scenario editor, a way for the community to develop their solar systems, and as someone who's gotten to play around with it myself, I can personally tell you that this part will be an awesome piece to an already fantastic game. And while you're watching, if you enjoy any part of this game, I highly encourage you to go wishlist it on Steam. I'll have links to the Steam page and Falling Frontier's social media in the description. One quick aside before we begin. For those who do not know, I work for Hooded Horse, Falling Frontier's publisher. With that knowledge, I'm not being paid to create this video. There is no incentive for me to do this outside of my fascination with the game and a personal desire to show others about it. I want to be upfront about this so that you, the community, don't mistake genuine excitement for anything but that excitement. Now, let's dive back into Falling Frontier. Falling Frontier's early access release will feature Titan Rising, the first piece of a 3-part narrative campaign to set up the Falling Frontier universe. This was a shift from the original release structure of a procedurally generated solar system for players to experience. That shift was made to give the community a foundation in the lore of Falling Frontier, to give it a sense of grounded history. Titan Rising takes place in our solar system, showcasing the evolution of a decades-old Cold War into an actual system-wide war between Titan and Mars, the trigger that then sets us off into other systems, and where the setting for the next 2 parts of the narrative campaign take place. The footage you are watching on screen is a tutorial section for Titan Rising's campaign, where you are in charge of the Titan Federation vessel Pinnacle, refueling at a station in this asteroid cloud known as the Forge. This 12-minute scene is packed full of campaign mechanics and information not yet shown off. Incredibly simple but immersive things like ship traffic and the ability to move on all X, Y, and Z planes, a must-have for any space game. But you'll notice that both light occlusion and some fantastic looking volumetric lighting, or God rays, are in effect here, where a toggle can trigger an overlay that shows object clarity. We've known for a while now that hiding behind anything outside of the line of sight can make a ship invisible, but we haven't seen the metrics by which an object can be seen partially as it's seen here by being below a ship. We'll get into this in some real action later on. In between though, the nitty-gritty aspects of the game and some seemingly minutiae pieces of management for your ships. Things like rearming, resupplying, repairing, even changing out your crew or your armaments if necessary. It's important to remember that your stations all require resources to operate, to do any of these actions, so logistics will be a necessity to keep your navy fully functioning. Regardless of what you're needing to do, all of it takes time to accomplish, and during that time, your ships are immobile, leaving the area vulnerable to attack. Having at least 1 or more ships not docked at a station will no doubt be crucial to prevent a surprise attack from wiping out a battle group, as we see in this video. Moving on towards the end of The Forge is that light occlusion and clarity overlay in action, as the Pinnacle is sent on a search and rescue mission, riding through a solar storm where visibility is next to nothing. Ship-mounted probes are sent to scope the immediate proximity, finding the pods of the abandoned ship Reliant nearby. What seems like a normal search and rescue mission then turns into a trap, as an unknown ship pulls itself into view below the pinnacle, immediately firing, and quite inaccurate thanks to the lack of visibility, before the pinnacle escapes using an asteroid to move out of sight. In talking to Todd about Titan Rising, his goal for this first part of the campaign in Falling Frontier is to invoke an emotive narrative experience, where the player feels the impact of this war evolving throughout, and that emotion triggers on to the next part of the campaign. This trigger is due in large part to Scott Buckley's music and a layered audio system that evolves as situations progress. When there's little to nothing going on, a low vibe with high tones makes for a calm setting. Moving into the unknown, the music picks up a bit, but still remains low and steady. A narrative event triggers, the tone shifts, brings in a new track, picking up the suspense. And even the difference between the unknown ship's reveal and the actual battle is pronounced. This is how Falling Frontier evokes that emotion, by tying your audio experience to the environment and the situation at hand, to always keep you engaged at even calm levels, and makes for stark musical differences while you play. Where the Forge takes us to the beginning of the war and a brief look into some mechanics, the search and rescue video sees those mechanics expanded upon in detail and with superb cinematic effect. Everything you see in this video has been created in-engine, using the same ship models as what you will play in the game, the same effects, from the warp jump into the sector, turrets moving, vapor expulsion, and even probes launching. Every bit of this is in the actual game, complete with the same radio chatter and ship noises. This style of bringing things down to ship level, these pieces of story cinematics, do a great job of bringing you the emotive narrative, and scenes like this bring out the expanse vibe that I keep coming back to when I see these up-close action shots. How often we'll get to see them is unknown, but it would be very cool to have a camera toggle that drops us down in there when battles commence. Moving on to the rest of the search and rescue video, we see how modular ships are at all times. The Pinnacle has been tasked with a search and rescue mission of the same type, but it doesn't have the loadout to accomplish such a task. Docking with the closest station, all you have to do is modify the loadout of your ships, catering to the mission at hand. It's as simple as that, and every ship has this capability, although the number of components varies based on ship type, and it will of course take that precious time I mentioned. Todd puts a heavy emphasis on search and rescue missions, implying that you'll want to regularly take these on after any battles, that it's almost a race to want to get there first. Why is this? To put it simply, your ships have officers that provide various roles. These roles range in significance, and each officer has unique characteristics and renown that plays a part in their effectiveness. Officers can be caught and interrogated, and depending on the aforementioned pieces, will be able to provide intel on last known ship locations, quantities, ship types, perhaps even nearby outposts or depots. That can be advantageous information to use against your enemy, but the kicker is that your officers can provide the same information to the other side should they get caught. So, search and rescue missions are as much for capturing enemy officers as they are for finding your own. Yet considering the vast scale of space that the game resides in, I imagine that can and will get tricky on the occasion. This plays on the risk versus reward system that Falling Frontier pushes on you throughout the game. If you lost a ship in battle, it's encouraged to go grab your crew, but you now have no information on how many enemy ships there might be. Maybe you interrogated an officer and found a remote outpost that, at last intel, had no defenses. Do you risk sending one ship to destroy it? Two? An entire battle group? What if their intel was bad due to their low renown and now you've run into a fleet? Or even worse yet, a captured officer led the enemy to one of your planets and they nuked the place. I love that your choices have consequences in this game, which is something we haven't seen come to fruition with many other narrative strategy games, and certainly not nearly as gorgeous or cinematic as Falling Frontier. While the narrative campaign thus far has immense appeal, there are no doubt people in the community who want to craft their own story, their own personal solar system. And that's when the scenario editor comes in. The scenario editor is exactly that, a way for you to handcraft a system from scratch. And in my time playing around with it, I can tell you personally that it is both fun to meddle in your own impossible system, but it's also incredibly detailed and allows for loads of variance as you get things set up. Planets, gas giants, moons, these all come with a range of effects and customization, from ring composition and atmosphere thickness on gas giants to surface textures on planets and moons, detail height, complexity, and of course tons of color choices. You can even modify the star in several ways, have a binary star system, change the light color of your sun so everything is cast in a bluish hue, for example, or even making everything, planets, moons, stars, nebulas, all pink. This part of Falling Frontier has a lot of appeal to me, and I'm sure it will to others as well. I believe that at some point you'll be able to add missions, starting locations, resources, etc., into the scenario editor, and the best outcome from that is community engagement. That engagement is absolutely crucial to the success of any game in today's market. And if people can go in, create their own system, their own conditions, and let people play it, that's the best type of interaction you can ask for. It's a brilliant idea, and I think it'll be quite the successful piece for this early access game. What's next for Falling Frontier? Development will continue as per the course. A second quarter release date in 2022 will ensure that Todd has ample time to bring us the absolute best experience that he can for early access. A stable, bug-free experience, and the first step in the game development push that is Falling Frontier's future. Todd's work so far on Falling Frontier is nothing short of amazing. That a single developer can come in, create a game on this scale with this depth, and take on games with teams and budgets much larger than his says so much to my appeal for the game. I'm a fan of the underdog, of the indie developer who is able to accomplish more than what might have ever thought possible. And I for one hope that Falling Frontier will continue to gain momentum to 2022 up to release and beyond. New videos and new information will be coming out as release gets closer, of course, but that doesn't mean we can just rest on our heels and do nothing. The best way you can help Falling Frontier is by wishlisting their game on Steam and following both Stutterfox Studios and Scott Buckley on social media. Scott's music is a huge part in the approach to Falling Frontier, and both Todd and Scott would no doubt appreciate the love and support, so please go do all the things. Links will be in the description. And with that, the end of this video. I hope you're enjoying the footage of Falling Frontier as much as I'm enjoying creating content for it. If you liked any part of this, consider showing your support by giving it a thumbs up, subbing to the channel, and turning on bell notifications. I will continue to cover the game as more information is released, so stay tuned into 2022. Thanks so much for watching. This is Havoc, and I'll see you all in the next video.